So before I go, I just want to thank a few people. Obviously, Mayor Walsh, Julie Burrows, Karen and Christian, Dan Monahan, and Carol Leone for their support of the arts and for their support of the project that I'm going to do. So I'm John Walsh, and I write and draw stories, and I'd like to share one with you right now. So like all stories, once upon a time, a very strange and vile orange man was elected President of the United States. And he made many, many cringeworthy statements about immigrants and immigration in regards to people coming to this country. And let's go through a few. So he said, "I think Islam hates us." So an entire religion of approximately 1.6 million people hate the United States. I don't know. Mexicans are bringing drugs and crime to this country. So again, out of an entire country to our southern border, all they have to offer us is drugs and crime, nothing else. Okay? And lastly, we have some bad hombres here. Good use of the vernacular there by the orange man. But let's dig into that idea of bad hombres. So look at this guy. He doesn't look American. I think he might be a bad hombre. Let's zoom out a little and see what's going on here. Oh, yep, that guy's definitely not an American. Look at him. His skin is less than lily white. He's got his delicious culinary tradition in one hand and his other delicious tequila in the other hand. How could this guy ever become an American? So now, obviously, this is a stereotype, and even though I'm joking, these kinds of ideas and pictures and talk has been used to discredit immigrants to our country before, to paint them as un-American. And I'd like to show you a version from the past. Now look at this guy. He doesn't look that safe. He looks angry. He looks violent with his simian features and his unkept facial hair. Let's pull out on this guy and see what's going on. Dear God, it's an Irishman. Watch out in the front row. But take a look at this. So look at him with his shoddy clothes. Of course, he's got a potato in one hand. He's got his delicious whiskey in the other. And like all Irish people, he's got a backup flask in his jacket. Now, this is a stereotype too. And this was used against my people. My people were called dirty, diseased, and drunk. And the thinking was, how in heaven could these filthy immigrants with their foreign religion ever become authentic Americans? Are we starting to see some of the similarities here? What was used in the past is being used again against people trying to come to this country. And it's just wrong. And that leads me to my project. I'm going to be creating a graphic narrative created with guidance from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement that explores the stories of various immigrants to Boston, both old and new. The catchphrase associated with this project is "change the narrative." The goal is to prompt an examination of the current fearful and negative attitudes towards immigrants by juxtaposing their stories, the stories of past immigrants that faced resentment, opposition, with those of recent immigrants in order to illustrate their similarities. Through sequential art, which is a fancy term for comic books, their experiences will be presented in a new and unique way that allows for easy translation based upon the needs of the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement. They may end up being printed, it may end up being some kind of web-based presentation, but the Office of Immigrant Advancement has talked about putting it in kiosks that will be placed at BCOF centers that focus or deal with immigrant populations. Now, immigration is something that I feel very, very strongly about. My people came to the United States during the First War from Ireland because they were fleeing poverty and they were fleeing religious oppression. They left their own country before their own country was free, when it was still under the English boot. People coming to this country today, or attempting to come to this country today, are hardworking men, women, and children that are fleeing war, fleeing poverty, fleeing religious persecution. You name it. They're dealing with all kinds of issues, and they just want their shot at being an American. And I feel, and I hope you do too, that they deserve that shot and that it's our job to give them that shot. We are in a nation whose lifeblood has been immigration, and we're in a city whose lifeblood has been immigration. And I hope that my project can do the tiniest bit in helping further this conversation. And before I go, I was able to reach out to that vile, nasty orange man for his opinion about my project, and he got back to me. I got that going for me. But thanks for your time, and thanks for letting me in your heads.